Hey everybody, I'm Trevor.
I'm Vincent.
We are the Anthony and Todd Show, and today we're going to be talking about the latest Chemical Brothers record, No Geography. They didn't study for the test, and now they're going to fail.
Because they're good at chemistry.
Yes.
They're good with chemicals. They're not good with
with spatial recognition.
Yeah. Kind of like me. I'm good with the chemicals. I can make, like acid, right? Just like you just combine some bleach with some like water.
Oh, like that kind of acid? Oh. Okay.
I wasn't talking about the drug. I was talking about just
you're talking about actual acid.
It's like the stuff that you put on the ground and it burns through.
Yeah, like in a cartoon.
Yeah.
The stuff that Walter White dissolves things in.
That's what I was thinking. If we need a body, come to me. I can dissolve it in my bathtub. And then it'll fall through the earth and through China, and then you can blame it on them.
Yeah. The Chemical Brothers are an English electronic music duo composed of Tom Rowlands and Ed Simons. Those are two English names if I've ever heard of them, for sure. Along with artists like The Prodigy, my man Fatboy Slim, The Crystal Method. These guys were pioneers at the beginning of this big beat genre to kind of bring electronic music more to the forefront of pop culture, especially these British artists.
Yeah.
It seemed to really pick up over there before it kind of came over to America. Yeah. Chemical Brothers released some pretty critically acclaimed albums like Exit Planet Dust back in 1995, Dig Your Own Hole back in 97, and then coming to their 2015 release, Born in the Echoes, they had some hard-hitting singles like Go, with Q-Tip of Tribe Called Quest fame, and Wide Open featuring Beck of Colors fame.
No.
Cut that out. But I think they lacked a lot of the oomph, I guess, needed.
So like Exit Planet Dust and Dig Your Own Hole, they have that like grime, that energy, that intensity. It doesn't like work as like track for track, but it works as one cohesive whole. Whereas Born in the Echoes was more like those two singles, and then occasionally like St. Vincent will show up. It'll kind of be cool the way the sampler, but it wouldn't be anything. Like the moments where it's just their production seems like it's lacking. So I wanted more out of them with just as an album. I wanted to see what a collective project would be from them without singles like that, like sample heavy or like feature heavy singles, and just kind of see what the Chemical Brothers would do kind of without that like 90s era big beat grime to it, like that like texture. You know what I mean?
The answer is they brought the 90s to now.
I feel like while Exit Planet Dust and Dig Your Own Home, which I recently listened to, it has that texture. This is a lot more clean project. It reminds me a lot of Nicholas Jar's AAL's 2012 to 2017 that they dropped last year. A lot of like the middle tracks of that record where it wasn't as like, I guess, sample heavy, like This Old House Is All I Have, like nothing like that, but a lot of more of the middle tracks where it was just like these eclectic beats that are very like addictive. I feel like this this album is more like that. It's very addictive. It's very spacey, well sampled, well put together, very eclectic. A lot of different sounds. There's vocal samples, but there's not a lot of verses. Besides, like I think on Even Destruction has like a rap verse that lasts for a second, and We Gotta Try has a verse, but it's not like any well-known features. There's no like voices that I can pick out from the crowd.
It's a lot of just kind of random voices.
Yeah, which I think it works because I feel like when you add a well-known voice, it kind of changes the integrity of the entire album. Like with Flume, I think that album would play out different if there was only like one JPEG feature and there was no other vocal features like we talked about last week. I feel like it would plan out to be a different project once you add that one well-known voice to it and like removed all the other vocal samples. With this, I think having less known artists just come and be on the track pans out a lot well, and a lot of these weird samples like on Mad as Hell where you got this guy going, I'm mad as hell, I'm mad as hell, and it just comes out to be just a completely funky and weird like club hit. I don't know why, it's just completely insane. You get Eva Destruction, where you get these like very high pitched, like I don't know, ear piercing vocals with like ear of destruction.
Yeah, it's a really weird like interval, two voices at a very dissonant interval, so it doesn't sound like good.
Yeah,
It sounds very like unsettling and kind of very jarring.
but it stays like that. I'm like, for around like the first minute, I'm like, is this gonna be the entire track? But actually
Yeah, I was
progresses.
a little worried about that.
It progresses well beyond that, and like the first three tracks, Eve Destruction, Bango, No Geography, like are just one track. They flow like nothing else. They just make so much sense. I just feel like they progress really well. We're getting these spaces, these atmospheres that are very chaotic, very shiny and bright, but they aren't super distracting or super, I guess, chaotic in a sense. They're the right amount of integrity to get you hypnotized to the beat. Moments like Gotta Keep On, Gravity Drops, and Unity Center V just feel so well put together. I feel like, especially after the Universe Semi, this thing just becomes even more addictive because I feel like they're trying more risk and taking us to more different places and locations. I just feel like this is a well composed 46 minutes of big beat and club music. I just think it's really good. They're bringing the 90s back, but with a 2019 polish, which is, I feel like, what's the most important thing about this.
Yeah. I didn't know if I would like this per se, especially going into it with that first minute of like Eve of Destruction. I was like, yeah, this track sucks. And then it got better. It definitely got better. There was a while back where I picked up a record from the radio station, and I listened to it, and then I like read the liner notes, and it said that this was a new genre of music called extreme sports music, and it was supposed to like convey the feeling of like doing extreme sports. But all I could think of was an episode of SpongeBob where they were like Q-tip fighting on top of the Space Needle or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? That's what this record reminds me of a lot. It's like the exhilaration of like doing extreme sports.
Yeah.
And that like adrenaline rush that you get from doing like really exciting stunts and things. I really enjoyed this record like more than I thought I would. It was a really pleasant surprise. I'm glad that Chemical Brothers kind of have their groove back a little bit.
Yeah.
The time that they come from, like I mentioned, like Fatboy Slim, the Crystal Method, like these are huge names in electronic music, and for a while, like that fell off for a long, it fell off for a long time. Fatboy Slim doesn't make music anymore.
He should.
Yeah,
We need to bring him back.
if he's alive,
We'll find him. We'll dig him out of the grave.
I hope. Yeah, that kind of music like isn't prominent anymore, but it inspired so many people like in America.
Yeah.
Like reading about it inspired bands like the Yeah Yeah Yeahs
Yeah.
or James Murphy with LCD Sound
Yeah.
System. Like so many different acts in America were inspired by this big beat movement, and big beat fell off for a long time. And now I feel like it's
Electronic music has been back for a long time, but it's never been like artistically back in one sense. You get like Chainsmokers and like Zed, and it's just like
it's not the same. It's like
Yeah.
it's not artistic. It's electronic influences being inserted into pop music.
Yeah.
But this is literally just electronic music at its core.
Yeah.
Going back to what these big beat and electronic bands were doing in the 90s to try to make music on their own without like needing a feature or without needing more pop elements
Yeah.
to be radio friendly. They just did what they wanted to do. I feel like this is kind of a comeback for that kind of music,
Yeah.
which I appreciate a lot.
yeah, I really enjoyed this record. I just feel like everything I'm taken care of when when I listen to this. I feel like every sample is on point. Every vocal sample that is there or every voice is there is done with the correct integrity. It's just very eclectic, very large, quintessential big beat, synth heavy, huge drum breakdowns. That's all I need. This is I feel like my favorite Chemical Brother projects so far, because the other two that I recently listened to, I liked it. But I feel like there's that 2019 context that I really didn't have, where this has it because it's the most modern release. But not to say that those other two records aren't superior in like a historical context.
They can sound a little dated, I think.
Yeah. But
Just
I
in
also
the time
like,
period that they made.
I wasn't around when that time period was.
Right.
Like I didn't have any pretext. But I enjoyed this project a lot. Keep in mind that all scores are futile and pointless. I'm feeling like an 8. I really enjoyed this.
I'll give it a solid like 7.5.
Okay. Until next time, guys, I'm Vincent.
I'm Trevor.
And we are the Chemical Brothers. It's
So-
been us all along.
It's me, Austin. Oh,
And see you, boys.
so long.